Hello, sirs and everyone. Good afternoon. My movie review is on the 12th Angry Man, which is was published in the year which was released in the year 1957. In this movie, the actual fact is about how the juries decides that the boy is not guilty because all the evidence against the boy was uh, evidence was against boy who has killed his father. In this movie, it shows that the lawyer of defendant is not that confident and was not able to be fight against prosecutions. And prosecution as well as witness has manipulated the evidence to the judge and the jury council. In this jury council, in this movie, jury council is like has already decided that the evidence was against boy, then the boy must be guilty. But in that, one jury was thinking in the shoe of a boy who's been guilty for killing his own father. Uh, uh, issues in the movie are that the jury had not taken this case as in a serious matter. They had taken this case as a personal matter. As when the jury has been when you are allotted as a jury member or a jury member in the council, then you should be serious about the job which you had been provided. uh, Second issue was the new lawyer of the defendant was not confident. As in a lawyer, you should be confident about what you are. You should always be object every questions. You should ask the questions to the witness, to all the witnesses which are there in the witness box. Um, and the law which are implemented in this movies uh, are action are the article 3s, which says that so the constitution itself says that we will have a supreme court, and this is the court is separate from both legislature and the executive, which means that which is it is up to the jury council who has the power to decide that the boy is guilty or not guilty. And there are amendments also in this movies. There are three amendments which are 5, 6, and 14. And five amendment is grand jury, double jeopardy, self-incrimination, due process takings, etc. And Amendment 6 is about right to speedy trial by jury, witnesses counsel. And Amendment 14 is about citizenship rights, equal protections, apportionment, and civil war debt. Analysis about the it also in this movie there is also a law against the Canadian law which states that the section 11F, in which section 11F says that the jury should be focused and and a law jury should focus on jury should not be take this case as a personal case matter. It should be focused on both sides, means on the defendant side also and the accused side. Means jury has to listen on the both sides. It should not come to the on the on the conclusion. At last, analysis of this movie is that the jury and the law is that focus. It is not should be manipulated. It should be totally dependent. Prosecution is the government prosecution, which is totally corrupted in this movie. And second of prosecution should not be corrupt. If for prosecution is corrupted, then there should be action against prosecutions against prosecutors. Conclusion is all about this movie is that a lawyer should be confident about the cases handled of his client. Second, uh, a lawyer might be a new or might be an old. He should not afraid about anything. A lawyer should always focus on is what the what matter he is handling. Thank you so much, sir. These are my views on my movie views on the 12 Angry Men.
Yes, I'm gonna talk about the movie Pink. And before I start, let's just talk about the color pink. We'll see what the color pink resonates, and we can say that it can scare even the most masculine man if you bring a pink t-shirt to him, a pink pant. He can be scared and he can be driven out of front. On the other hand, if we see pink, then in psychological terms, it means a sense of comfort, compassion, hope, and that's what this movie shows us, that if that's what the movie brings to our awareness, that this is possible in a legal system. And going to the facts of the case, three women, Meenal, Palak, and Andrea, they go to a resort in a rock concert, and over there they befriend three men. And in certain circumstances, Meenal and Rajveer are alone, and over there he tries to outrage her modesty. And in that heat of the moment, I mean, despite her denial, he tries it, and then in the moment of rage, she hits the head with the bottle. And then follows the story that how they try to intimidate the girls from and procuring a sorry from that girl, but they are not willing to do because they hadn't done any mistake. And later on, Meenal gets the courage, files a case, but in that same time, because of the influence and connections of Rajveer, he files a case and they charge under section 307 and 320. And police approaches Meenal's doorstep and they arrest her. So from here the case actually starts, and I want to state the laws which are stated and which are important, and I'll go with the case. So first thing is when Meenal gets arrested, both both the friends are clueless and unaware of the rights, and even they try to hire a lawyer, but even he does not have a clue how to get that pass. At that point, Amitabh Bachchan under Section 4, Amitabh Bachchan states that under Section 437, where you can grant bail even in cases of non-bailable offence, and he states that in certain case where the offence is against women and children, they can get a immediate bail by going to the sessions. This is the point where they miss and he gets it. And this I found was very important one. And over there after that. Uh, as the case starts, the prosecution has fabricates a complete lie, and if you see under section 211 of IPC, which states about false prosecution, so they fabricate that these women are soliciting and in prostitution business, and they try to color the case in that manner. And over the trial, they present many witnesses which try to bring the character of Meenal under question and degrade the character, and try to link the solicitation business of prostitution and her assault on Rajveer. But an important point which they missed was when the police officer, which is supposed to maintain a station diary under section 172 of CRPC and under section 166 AC of IPC, where they have to obey the directions as given by law while they are writing information regarding offences under section 354 of IPC and others. So in that section, in that way, the SHO does a mistake and does not properly write the case in that manner which was required by law. And this opens the case. This opens that there was a connection between the fabrication and the lie, and this states that they had filed the FIR after she had filed the FIR first. This was a turning point in the case. And coming back to the analysis is I feel that here the judge has shown that if you show, judge has seen the genuineness of Meenal and her friends. Judge has shown that quality of witness is more important than quantity, and I feel it is shown to us that if you have the courage to fight and if you are willing to go and the advocate has a genuine care for the client, we can even win an unwinnable battle.
So, the Philadelphia, which is the movie which was released on 1993, and the fact are going like Andrew Beckett is a senior associate in a law firm in Philadelphia. The firm fires him due to his poor job performance, believing that the dismissal is instead linked to his hidden homosexuality and status as an AIDS patient. He asked the African American Joy Miller to take his case and challenge the dismissal. The lawyer Miller himself at the first is homophobic and fearful of physical contact with Andy, but he is able to come around and change. It is significant that it is an African American actor who plays the role of the lawyer. In this way, the film likely analogies a form of discrimination that most spectators disagree to, a form that at the time of the movie was more debatable, discrimination based on AIDS and sexual orientation. Despite his legal partner defense trying to demonstrate that it was a lawful dismissal at the end of the jury vote in favor of Andy Beckett itself and granting him a substantial compensation for the damage. Now the issues are like if whether an employee with ill health is responsible and well versed with his task or his work, would it be right enough that he will be fired on the ground of his ill health? The second is right of the people who are contracted with the disease like AIDS, like AIDS. And the third one is the main legal issue was the whether the dismissal of Andrew is justified, whether there is sufficient ground to fire Andrew from the firm. Law explained there are three acts and one code is there. The first is Charter of Fundamental Right of European Union. Article 21 is there, which talks about non-discrimination, and the second is the Federal Rehabilitation Act of 1973. These are from European acts, and the next is from Indian Act, which is Human Immunodeficiency Virus and Acquired Immune Deficiency Syndrome. Prevention and Control Act 2017, which defines in which Section 2A defines the meaning, which defines the AIDS, meaning of AIDS. And the last section, which is IPC 377, Section 377, which defines unnatural offences as well. And and as we can see in the analysis, the movie which shows the political, medical and social issues of AIDS. Jonathan Demme shows how gay people have to fight constantly for their rights and recognized for who they are. Therefore, freedom, equality, and solidarity are core values in the film. The best motivated part of the movie is to have a progressive thought and realize that each and every human has their personal right to live on their personal choice. And last, the conclusion is The movie which showed perspective insight into an AIDS victim, perspectively in a poetic short way. The movie Philadelphia symbolizes that there should be a law to protect the interest of the specific group, and it will also be accepted by the society itself.
Sir, I'm talking about the movie Section 375 of Akshay Khanna and Richa Chadha, which was released in the year 2019. So, first of all, hi to my colleagues. Hi everyone. I hope you all are fine in this pandemic. Talking about the movie of 370, Section 375. See, there was a movie. I mean, this is my favorite topic. Talking on Bollywood films is like very big interest for me. So, thank you, sir, for giving us an opportunity to talk on this topic. I would firstly like to talk to you all regarding the movie Aetraz, which was released like 15-20 years ago. The movie was of Akshay Kumar, Priyanka Chopra, Amrish Puri, and Kareena Kapoor. In that movie, it was shown that Akshay Kumar is being charged with the cases of rape, and that case was charged from Priyanka Chopra and Akshay Kumar. So in that movie, in the end, Kareena Kapoor says that हिंदुस्तानियों की और हम इंसानों की एक फितरत है. अगर एक आदमी एक औरत को थप्पड़ मारता है तो लोगों को लगता है कितना बेगैरत आदमी है, और अगर एक औरत एक आदमी को थप्पड़ मारती है तो लोग कहते हैं पक्का आदमी की गलती होगी. सो इन नेशन लाइक इंडिया पीपल यूजुअली फील कि जब भी कोई प्रॉब्लम होती है एक आदमी और एक औरत में तो आदमी की ही गलती मानी जाती है. सेम इज इन द केस ऑफ माई मूवी विच आई एम गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट इन द सेक्शन 375. It is a movie in which the name of the actors are basically Akshay Khanna, Richa Chadha, Rahul Bhatt, and Meera Chopra. I won't be taking the names of the characters that they have played because it will lead to a confusion. In this movie, the lead actress, that is Miss Meera Chopra, she has filed a case against the director of the movie, not of the real movie, but of the movie के अंदर वाला movie जो director है, that is against Mr. Rahul Bhatt, that he has raped her without her consent, without her, what do we say, under undue influence and coercion, and that is the whole issue, the whole drama that movie takes place in. In this, the advocate or the lawyer of Miss Meera Chopra is Miss Richa Chadha, and the advocate of the director Rahul Bhatt is Akshay Khanna. So Akshay Khanna and Richa Chadha, they were friends. Richa Chadha was an intern or an associate, we can say, of Mr. Akshay Khanna. She used to work for him, but due to some of her personal issues, कि सर मुझे आपका ये एटीट्यूड नहीं पसंद आता है जो आप कानून को अपने हिसाब से तोड़ मरोड़ के खरीद के लोगों को चेंज कर देते हैं, इसीलिए मैंने आपका चेंबर छोड़ा. So they were very good friends in the beginning of the movie, which is not shown to us, which is spoiled to us. And later on, they fight against each other, a case in the movie. The whole drama of the movie continues. The wife of the director, that is wife of Mr. Rahul Bhatt, she fires the best advocate for her husband to get a bail of the charges. The entire society is against the advocate Akshay Khanna. They say कि मतलब एक औरत की मॉडेस्टी को आउटरीच करने वाले एक आदमी को आप बचा रहे हो, आप किस काम के वकील को. The mob threatens the public threatens the police that we break your barricades, हम कोर्ट तोड़ देंगे, हम देख लेंगे वकील को. They even throw ink on the face of Akshay Khanna, and finally all the drama between the prosecution and defense and everyone goes on. The judges, it was the first case of Miss Richa Chadha in that movie. The judges are also very nervous to see that who is going to win the case and who is going to fight the case well and who is wrong and who is right. Finally, we actually believe in the entire movie that the man is wrong, that Mr. Rahul Bhatt is wrong in the entire movie. But when the climax of the scene comes, that is the point we realize that the assistant, who was Ms. Meera Chopra, she has filed a wrong case against the director of Mr. Rahul Bhatt just because he has assaulted her, he has left her, he was having an affair with her, and he has left her by saying मैं अपनी बीवी को धोखा नहीं दे सकता, हमें ये रिश्ता खत्म करना होगा. So she filed a wrong case against him, and that was the moment when we realized हमेशा आदमी गलत नहीं होता, औरत भी गलत हो सकती है. So this movie basically portrays a scene where a man cannot be wrong every time, a woman can be. And in our society, we can see that a few of the women definitely use these kinds of laws उसकी आदतों को, उसके काम को समझना जरूरी है बिफोर
I live in section 375 as well. As it is already the facts of the case were given out, so the movie revolves around the courtroom drama depicting abuses, power, and court women using as a weapon the very law that was made to protect them. The case revolves around a director accused of rape by his costume assistant, and the session court without digging much into the entire case. They, gives him a sentence of 10 years under Section 354, outraging modesty, and 375, that is rape. So this further appealed into the High Court, and once the entire case is wrapped up and the punishment is given, it was later discovered that it was just a case of an affair gone wrong. So the entire movie, I'd like to just ask if the decision was right, if Mr. Rahul was right, the decision was right. So I don't agree the decision is right. I think it was just based on circumstantial evidence that was put forth to the court. And there is this saying with the Section 375 that a man is guilty until proven innocent, whereas a woman is innocent until proven guilty. So this thing, this saying has such a power on this section, which basically it puts a man in a tight position where he cannot, cannot prove it to the court if all the circumstantial evidence are created against him. Movie, like where the costume assistant makes the entire world believe with all those self-inflicted injuries that it is possible that he raped you, like which is very easy for him to show it to the court. Correct. So in this position only where the section just tells us that this entire case revolves around the word consent. So when a woman verbally consents to something like this, it cannot be proven later. Then the person can go back on his words like if the consent is taken and the woman just is not okay with the situation she is right now, she can go back on her words. So that is completely wrong, where it is so easy for a woman to make such evidence to prove such a grave crime against the men. And also after 2012 of the Nirbhaya case, there was an amendment that was brought where the burden of proof was shifted to the accused, where the accused has to prove his innocence. Unlike other criminal cases where the burden of proof is on the complainant. That made it even more difficult for an accused to prove his innocence. So, like I said, proving verbal consent is very difficult and next to impossible to say in that position I had consent. So that's what I think is a very wrong case. In 2014, the Delhi Commission of Women put out a report stating rape cases filed within a year of 2013 and 14 were false. Because of the amendment that came out, the number of cases has spiked so much that it has become very easy to falsely accuse men of such grave crimes and putting him behind the bars for like at least 10 to 15 years. There have been cases where the complainant just wanted to get rid of him because of some property matters or extortion of money and things like that. Because of this trend, there were hundreds of cases which were genuine cases did not get reported because the family of the victim denied to report it, seeing all this trend where people were falsely accusing people. So other than that, there was this case that recently happened in 2019, the Chinnanan case, where this person was accused of rape from a fellow college student. Later, it came out to be that the student was extorting money in exchange of the case and in exchange of all those acquisitions. All these cases sum up and one more case of the Snapchat case that just happened, the Snapchat and Instagram case where women when there were chats of getting rape threats and everything that was going around the internet. Later, the crime branch just found out that the handler that was putting out this threat was a girl, and no action was taken against it. So, as a society, we fail to safeguard uh, men against these laws, which can be misused as well. Like not all the time there are genuine cases coming up. So I think the law has failed to, balance the protection and safeguarding both the society, the parts of the society. So there, I, as a suggestion, after watching the movies, I think these laws cannot be gender neutral because there won't be justice if it is gender neutral. People won't report it, but there can be punishment for people who falsely accuse it. There are no serious punishments for women who falsely report such grave cases. So I think there should be punishment for them.